Hi dears, welcome all. This is our last session about activity planning. During the previous sessions, we mainly discussed the objectives and importance of activity planning. When the activity plan has to be done, then project schedules, projects and activities, as well as sequencing and scheduling activities. In this session, we are mainly discussing about network planning models, formulating a network model, then adding the time dimension. We are dealing with three areas mainly: network planning models, how to formulate a network model, and adding the time dimension. Let us start with network planning models. These project scheduling techniques model the projects, activities, and their relationships. And these activities and their relationships are formed as a network. In the network, time flow from left to right. Originally, these techniques were developed in 1950s. The techniques such as critical path method, shortly CPM, and program evaluation review technique, shortly PERT. These are the two best known techniques developed in the 1950s. A more recently, a variation of these techniques called precedence network. It has become popular, and it is this method that adopted in the majority of computer applications currently available. These three methods are very similar, and it must be admitted that many people use the same name, particularly critical path method CPM, indiscriminately to refer to any or all of the methods. Formulating a network model. In the first stage, creating a network model is to represent the activities and their interrelationships as a graph. In CPM, we do this by representing activities as link, arrowed lines or arrow marks in the graph. The nodes drawn by circles represent the events of activities starting and finishing. Constructing CPM networks. Before we look at how CPM networks are used, we shall discuss a few moments considering the rules for their construction. First rule: a project network may have only one start node. The start node designates the point at which the project may start. All activities coming from that node may start immediately resources are available. That is, they do not have to wait for any other activities to be completed. Then second one, a project network may have only one end node. The end node designates the completion of the project. A project may only finish once. So, a project network may have only one finish node or only one end node. The next one, a link has a duration. A link represents an activity. In general, activities are tasks or activities take time to execute. The links are not drawn in any way to represent the activity durations. The network drawing merely represents the logic of the project. That means the rules governing the order in which the activities are to be carried out. Since a link represents an activity or a link represents a process to be executed, it takes time to execute, it means that a link has a duration. Next rule is nodes have no duration. Nodes are events. They are instantaneous points in time. The source node is an event. The end node, the sink node is also an event. The source node is the event of the project becoming ready to start. The end node or the sink node is the event of the project becoming completed. Nodes in between or intermediate nodes represent two simultaneous events. The event of all activities leading into a node having been completed and the event of all activities leading out of that node being in a position to be started. The next rule in constructing a CPM network is time moves from left to right. Time moves from left to right. If at all possible, networks are drawn so that time moves from left to right. It is rare that this convention needs to be flouted. But in any case, the arrows on the activity lines give a strong visual indication of the time flow of the project. The next rule, nodes are numbered sequentially. Nodes are numbered sequentially. There are no precise rules about node numbering, but nodes should be numbered so that head nodes, those at the arrow end of an activity, always have a higher number than tail events. Head events means the arrow end of an activity. Tail events means those at non-arrow end of an activity. This convention makes it easy to spot loops, easy to identify loops. Our next rule, a network may not contain loops. A network may not contain loops. A loop is an error in that It represents a situation that cannot occur in practice. While loops in the sense of iteration may occur in practice, they cannot be directly represented in a project network. The logic suggests that program testing cannot start until errors have been corrected. A loop represents an impossible sequence. It represents an error. The next rule, a network may not contain dangles. A dangling activity suggests there are two completion points for the project. But a network should contain only one completion point or one end node. In such cases, if there is any dangling activity, then the network should be redrawn so that the activity which is dangling is eliminated. All events except the first and the last must have at least one activity entering them and at least one activity leaving them, and all the activities must start and end within an event. Then the last rule to construct a CPM network is precedents are the immediate preceding activities. The immediate preceding activities are known as precedents. An example of a project activity network, a part of project activity network, a fragment is represented as a CPM network here. In the network diagram, we can see a set of nodes. A set of nodes, they are numbered. Also, a set of links, a link between node 1 and 2, a set of links 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 links between 2 and 3, again a link between 3 and 4, such that etc. up to 10. These links have a duration. They represent the activities. Nodes represents the event. Node 1 is the starting node and 10 is the sync node or the end node. The above rules to construct the CPM network, we can identify. This is an example, so we can represent here. Then our last topic in this session, activity planning, is adding the time dimension. Adding the time dimension. Having created the logical network model indicating what needs to be done and the interrelationships between those activities, now we are ready to start thinking about when each activity should be undertaken. When each activity should be undertaken. The critical path method is concerned with two primary objectives. Planning the project in such a way that it is completed as quickly as possible and identifying those activities where a delay in their execution is likely to affect the overall end date of the project or later activities start dates. The method requires that for each activity we have an estimate of its duration. Estimate the duration of each activity. Then the network is to be analyzed. The network is then analyzed by carrying out a forward pass. Forward pass means to calculate the earliest dates at which activities may commence and the project be completed. So it is to carry it out to calculate the earliest date on which each event may be achieved and the earliest date on which each activity may be started and completed. The earliest date for an event is the earliest date by which all activities upon which it depends can be completed. Then to carry out a backward pass. It means to calculate the latest start date for each activities. Calculate the latest date which each event may be achieved and each activity started and finished without delaying the end date of the project. The latest date for an event is the latest date by which all immediately following activities must be started for the project to be completed on time. In calculating the latest dates, we assume that the latest finish date for the project is the same as the earliest finish date. That is, we wish to complete the project as early as possible. The backward pass is the second stage to carry out in the analysis of network diagram. When the network is analyzed to identify the critical path, any delay on the critical path will delay the project. The difference between the earliest date and the latest date for an event is known as the slack. It is a measure of how late an event may be without affecting the end date of the project. Any event with a slack of 0 is critical in the sense that any delay in achieving that event will delay the completion date of the project as a whole. There will be always be at least one path through the network joining the critical events. Those critical events can be joined in the network and this path is known as critical path. Here we are completing this chapter, activity planning, and right now I believe you will be able to produce an activity plan for a project, estimate the overall duration of a project, and create a critical path and a precedence network or a CPM network for a project. Thank you.